Hey everyone, welcome back to Carrots and Olives. My name is Brittany, and if you're new to my channel, hello, welcome. I'm glad you're here. If you're not new to my channel, thanks for coming back. And today I am going to be talking about my October or Inktober, what I did in my Hobonichi, and then also what I'm going to be doing now. It's one of those questions like, what do you do after Inktober? Where does that put you? How do you feel? And I'm not going to get too deep in how I feel and everything like that, but I do want to do a quick flip through and just talk about actually one of the newest art material and one of my favorites. And I've been using it for about a month now and I can't get enough of it. It is this fountain pen, and I got this from Amazon. It is from Sailor, and it is the Sailor Fude de Manon, and it is a very inexpensive fountain pen, and I've been using it for a lot of my inking on my Inktober and even now in my journal, and I will most likely be using this in the future as well. So one of the biggest things I like about this pen is that it is super lightweight. Like, it weighs close to nothing. In fact, I feel like the cap weighs just as much as the pen itself. So even when writing, it's so lightweight, and for drawing, I like that because it reminds me of drawing with the pencil. The other thing about it is that it does post. However, if you don't really apply a lot of pressure, then the posting will feel kind of flimsy. And so I am typically a person who likes to post my fountain pens and my pens in general, but it's okay to not post. And I say that because this pen is actually kind of long when it posts, but because it's lightweight, you don't feel that heaviness or that unbalance in the back of the fountain pen like you do with some others. That's the nice thing about it, but also it is kind of long, and so without posting it, you still get a fairly long pen, and you don't feel like it's too short in the hand. So let me compare it to something like a TWSBI. So here's my here's my TWSBI, and I only pulled out a TWSBI because it is a pretty popular fountain pen and great for beginners. And if I were to put it side by side, it's a little bit longer than a TWSBI unposted. The cap is a little bit longer too because the finial and the end are kind of pointed off here, and the TWSBIs are pretty square. But when it's posted, again, you can kind of see how long it is when it's posted. Anyway, just to give you some perspective, if you do own a TWSBI, and also if you do own a Sailor, you can kind of tell what it looks like there. Hopefully you can see that because my Sailor is clear. It's a demonstrator. Anyway, back to this pen. This pen is awesome. I did post it on my Instagram and I got a lot of questions. So the nib is a Fude nib, meaning that it is bent and it is pretty flexible. Well, the line widths, you're pretty flexible as an artist or a writer to get different line widths with this pen. So it is bent and it's supposed to be bent. so that if you were to hold it straight up and down, you can get like a thicker line than if you were to hold it at a certain slant. And also you can write with it upside down, which is actually a technique I really enjoy doing because that's when you get one of the thinnest lines with this pen. Let me get right into my Inktober, and I'm going to do just a flip through. This is the Sojourner trifold, and this is in the natural leather. I am using my Hobonichi Techo, which I've been using all year long so far. Yay me, I'm so excited. This is my very first Hobonichi Techo, and I really like using it for sketching and drawing out my days. Started with Poisonous, and at the beginning of Inktober I was determined to be using ink. I started off with the Winsor Newton ink and a like watercolor brush, and it turned out okay, but I got tired of it. I was a little bit bored. So as I go through, you can tell that the first few days or the first week was using a lot of ink and brush pen. And then as I move along, I got more into my Copic fine liners. And then as I keep going, I started doing more shading with my fine liners than with the ink. And then I pretty much, I think this was the last day I used ink altogether. So I was like halfway through the month almost, and I kind of stuck with just my fine liners. Just because I felt like the fine liners were more practical for me to use to be able to continue with this challenge. And then I was watching Follow the White Rabbit on YouTube, and she happened to mention this fountain pen, and I knew about this fountain pen almost probably at the beginning of this year. I saw this fountain pen on Amazon, but I just overlooked it. I didn't think anything about it. And she mentioned it again, how she uses it in her drawings and with watercolor, how it's awesome to use because of the different line widths, and her technique with watercolor worked really well with this pen. And so I felt like, you know, I'm gonna try this out, and I just really fell in love with it. And I started using it on, I can't remember exactly which day I started to use it, but I did start using it during October. I used it a lot. I think I used, this whole spread was using this pen. You can see with the word thunder how thick of a line you can get. And then I use this pen for these 2 pages at the end as well. Now, I'm not really new to the Fude nib because it was probably 4 or 5 months ago that I did get a Fude nib from Amazon, and it was a different brand, and it was actually more expensive than this one, and it was terrible. At first it was okay, it writes smooth, and I inked it up, and then as soon as I put it in my bag, it leaked all over, and I haven't used it since, and I can't stop the leaking without cleaning it out. So it really wasn't something that I felt like using anymore. It turned me off, and I just kind of stored it away, and I still haven't used it. But after about having this for almost a month now, it hasn't leaked on me. I have permanent black ink, which is the carbon ink from this bottle that I put in here. and I know I should probably feel a little bit more weary to make, hopefully, you know, hoping that this thing won't leak anywhere because it has permanent ink in it. But I just like all day long, I just take it all the way, like everywhere with me. I throw it in my bag. I put it in my notebook here. Sometimes I'll store it here and then toss this thing around. So it's, the ink in here is getting sloshed around all the time. Now, I think this is a great deal. It was, I think, less than $11. The other one I bought was $20-something, and it was pretty heavy. This is made out of plastic, so you know. The other one I had was, I think, made out of some type of aluminum or something. But I think this is a great deal if you are interested in different line widths, and if you want something lightweight that kind of reminds you of drawing with a pencil. I also use this for my journal, as I had mentioned before. So I like it because it has allowed me to get lines like this. I can do quotes like this. And then I can draw with it. The only thing, because I'm using this on Tomoe River paper, I just make sure that before I flip over to the next side, I make sure it dries. And I have to give it like 30 seconds because of this ink, and I don't want it to smear. It's smeared over here, so I always end up smearing it somehow, but I'm learning to not let things smear slowly. Can do this. The ink that does come with this fountain pen when you first purchase it is not waterproof, just so you know. So if you're interested and want a waterproof black ink, I would definitely go with the carbon ink because it does not smear. After it dries, it does not smear. And even if you wanted to erase over it, it won't lighten up. The color of the black won't get like gray or light black, and you won't need to reline your work. So that's just some of the things I'm able to do with this pen. I just have to carry it with me, so I usually have it like here or in some other bag next to my fountain pens for my journal here. And then moving on, this was October, and after October ended, I was trying to figure out what I'm gonna do for November. So I really like the idea of having the prompt challenge. And if you guys have followed me for a while now, you know that I have previously done videos on my drawing my day out, and I've done a couple of whole month flip throughs of my draw day, and I was thinking about going to that, but I changed my mind and wanted to keep up with another prompt challenge. So this one I found from Sketchbook School, and it is like a draw your day, or one drawing a day. It's a hashtag on Instagram, and so I'm going with their prompt list for November. And this is kind of like a sneak, I guess, of what I've done so far. Now, just to preface this, I did not do each of these drawings one day at a time like I had kind of been doing in Inktober, but I just do it when I can. I do have previously written out the prompts at the top of the page, and so when I do get a time to draw, I will just start drawing. And sometimes I go in straight with this pen, or I'll just use like a pencil before I ink it up. So some days I actually draw a couple pages at a time, and Sundays I don't do anything. So I've been trying to catch up because I was a little bit behind. So I caught up. For plump, I drew berries. And shiny, I drew a penny. For level, I drew this kind of scale. And I did all this with this pen only. Fall, just drew some leaves and a dark background. And then for monument, I drew a $5 bill, if you can tell. And then I drew the Lincoln Memorial kind of popping out 3D-ish of the $5 bill. Spiraling, I drew a slinky. And did any of you guys remember having slinkies when you were younger? And then you try to do that slinky thing going down the staircase. I remember I had like a metal slinky, and it always seems like, even now that I have kids, my 3-year-old, I gave him a slinky, and literally that same day the slinky was all messed up and jangled, and it was no longer a slinky anymore. I wonder, like, has anyone ever had a slinky last longer than a week? Because I don't think I ever have. Next, I did a mirror, and I just drew some octopus legs kind of holding onto the mirror. And actually, now that I think about it, I think I should have kind of made the mirror crack a little bit to make it seem as if the octopus legs are squeezing the mirror. And then this is a prime example of what I mean when I am trying to conquer this challenge. Today I drew this one. And this one is for industrial, and it's supposed to be one of those metal fans. And you can see that I haven't done anything over here. And today I'm actually filming this, and it is Friday the 9th. And so I haven't even done Thursday. And I think I'm gonna skip Thursday until I can come up with something interesting. And I might even just move on. So I've already pre-filled out what the prompts are. And I'm gonna do that moving forward so that if something comes to mind, I can just draw it out, and it doesn't have to be the day that it is. So that's how I am taking this challenge. I really am very proud of myself for completing Inktober. I don't know, I'm really liking this idea. I think I like using black on white paper, or especially Tomoe River paper, but I don't really like the whole inking with color. I don't know. I'm still trying to find my style, and if any of you guys have been following me on Instagram, you know that I've been doing a lot of digital art. If any of you would like to see how I do some of my digital art and what I use, please give me a like and post your comments down below if you want to see that. I do use my iPad, so I can just show you some quick things you can do to get yourself started in digital art that way. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It is a little lengthy, but I thought that it would be a good time to kind of sum up my Inktober experience. I really like it. I hope that next year I continue and still have the time to do it. I think it has widely improved my art so far, and I'm excited to see where my artwork takes me from this point on. So thank you for joining me. If you made it to the very end, high five yourself, give yourself a pat on the back, and don't forget to give this video a like. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.